Hey, welcome back again to the Digestion Diaries. This is Dr. Jason Piken. Welcome to part 2 of Listen to Your Gut. In part 1, what I spoke about is listening to your gut as it pertains to literally putting things into your gut, what we eat, what we drink, and I hope you learned a little bit from that, or a lot of bit from that, about listening to your gut feelings. Now, what we're going to be talking about is the other end of the gut-brain axis. So we spoke about how foods that you eat can make you feel uncomfortable in some way, and not only in your gut, but they can actually affect your mood because your gut and your brain are connected by this axis. They both have separate nervous systems and they both think in different ways. But what we have to understand is what we do to one, we do to the other. And what we're going to talk about now is how the brain affects the gut. And this episode is going to pertain to making decisions. It's the second most common thing I have asked to me. Dr. Piken, Jason, whatever they're going to call me. How do I choose between this and this? I'm confused. And sometimes I do give recommendations. Sometimes it's just that black and white where I just want to give my opinion, but very often I really like people to make their own choices. You see, when somebody tells you what to do, sometimes you're going to follow it. But when you make your own decision, when you decide that something is right for you, it's so much more powerful. So I always guide patients that I'm dealing with or people that I'm coaching to make the decision that's right for them based upon what they believe. And my job is to kind of coax it out of them. And I might have to give examples of my own life. I might have to use their words and spit them right back at them. But my goal is to listen to what they're saying and help them to make the choice by letting them make the choice, really. Okay, so let's talk about when doubt first sets in. So my real belief in where doubt really sets in is you're 1.5 years old, you see this nice big red ball and you want to go to it. It's like a mile away because you're 1.5 years old, but you don't really care because you're experimenting with the world. And you start crawling to this ball and you're starting to drool because you're really happy about getting to this ball. And all of a sudden you feel this force lift you away and pull you away and drag you away and say, no, don't do that. Because what you didn't know about the ball is the ball was a few inches away from the stairwell. And if you would have went after that ball and started playing with it, you might have tumbled all the way down the stairwell and caused a big scare to your parents or whoever else was watching you. So some adult with some knowledge lifted you away and saved your life. So that is education that you have to learn. The right and wrongs of how to survive. And then there's innate intelligence. The innate intelligence and the ego are what we're born with. See, all we want to do is good for us, yet it's also selfish. What we want innately is selfish and ego-driven. We want that ball. Yet we have to learn from education, from elders, from mentors, from parents, teachers, whatever it is, the right and wrong ways to live in society. Now, there are a lot of different philosophies and lessons there, but innate self-preservation and ego, doing good for yourself, if you really get back to listening to that, it's always right. Now, I'm not saying to become selfish and ego-driven at the detriment of others and society. That's not it. But when it comes to your health, and when it comes to making choices that can make you better, make you feel better, make you function better, we have to start listening to that innate intelligence again. And it gets lost. Because how many times have you had those slap in the wrists? It might have been you're drawing in a coloring book and you went out of the lines and somebody said, no, you shouldn't do that. You should stay in the lines. Or you might have been coloring a flower, pink and purple and red and all the colors of the rainbow, and somebody said, no, flowers are yellow. Or you might have asked out a girl or a boy and been rejected. You might have really, really wanted something for Christmas and didn't get it. You were let down because everybody is throughout life. And this teaches us how to live in the social world. We have to understand that not everything is going to be perfect for our ego. And when it comes to our health, we have to learn to listen to our gut based upon our knowledge and then what feels right. So here's where I got into the lesson. What feels right. When you're making a decision about what's right and wrong for your life, and I don't care if it's about what food to choose or not, or what job to take, or who to be friends with, or if you should stay up late and work hard, or if you should go to bed. There are decisions we have to make all day long, and if we base our decisions on our innate intelligence and what's best for us, without hurting anybody else, we're going to be making the right decision. I believe that if you're making a decision that's selfish and that's self-promoting, and it doesn't screw over your family or friends and society, it's the right decision. So when you're listening to that little voice inside you, you just have to get quiet. This is why I speak about meditation so often, and why I think every single human being should be meditating, hopefully in the morning, because it's the best time where your brain is active and the thoughts are really rolling. And when you really listen to those things that pop up that are your voice rather than somebody else's voice, you can't make the wrong decision. You just can't. So here's an example. I have patients all the time that debate quitting their job. And there's one person I'm thinking about right now, and I'm going to give you their conundrum. So they have been taught, whether it's by, and I'm going to be very vague about this example, they have been taught by society that a bird in hand is worth more than two in the bush. Yes, that is true. It is. Depends on the situation though, because this person is stuck in a job that they're unhappy with. They spend 8-9 hours a day doing something that they don't like, surrounded by people that they're not really thrilled with. And the only reason that they're not switching into moving into what they really want to do is because of expectations placed on them by other people. Now, I'm not talking about a single mom that has to spend the next few years raising her kids and just getting food on the table, and they feel a little stuck or very stuck, but they just have to get through the next few years before they start to do what they love. I'm talking about somebody that actually has options, may not think they have options because of the pressure and scared thoughts that they have about changing, but they actually do have options. Yet they have pressure from this voice inside their head, from authority figures from their past that are saying, stay safe and stick with that bird in hand job because you never know what's out there. And they're not listening to their gut that's saying, why don't I just do it right now? So I'm going to ask you, as your tip of the day, to start meditating and use that brain to start doing what you love. Because here's the brain-gut tie-in. If you stay with that 8-hour-a-day job where you're really not happy with the people around you and you're not happy with what you do, the negative emotions in your head can negatively affect your gut. They can make you choose the wrong foods because when under stress, we choose to eat the wrong things. They can make you actually feel bad. You ever feel like butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous? Well, those butterflies can go away if you get used to the stresses being at a certain level of height. If the stress all of a sudden goes from here to here, you're going to get butterflies in your stomach. But if your stress is here and gradually over many, many years starts to go up here, you don't feel those butterflies. But that same level of stress is causing those butterflies in your stomach, which are ruining your ability to digest food. And that could be the reason why you're having gut issues. So I hope you learned something from this. I'm going to get more into this on a whole course I'm building on the gut-brain relationship. But for now, take this information, start meditating, and listen to your gut. Have a great day.